The inaugural 12-team college football playoff starts today. Indiana, Notre Dame. What are we taking? And yes, there is some NBA and college basketball because I couldn't help myself. This is the free three. I've got three best bets on the way. Let's get into it. What's up, guys? It's your boy Noble Living back with another DYF Bets video where I'm breaking down my favorite picks and plays of the day. I will try to get to the bag together and make that money. Yesterday, another break-even day. Two back-to-back 2-2 days. Not the way we wanted it, but guess what? It's not a loss, so we can't be too mad. And our plus 100 plays of the day also cashed in. Tatum's rebounds, no sweat bet there. I told you to sprinkle some on the double-double. You would have gotten that. The Wolves and Knicks, same game parlay. I said Julius Randle 3 assists, Cat for 2 3-pointers. The dude hit 5. You love to see it. Our loss on the day came in the teaser. Sometimes the teasers work in our favor, sometimes it doesn't. I took the under. The play was the over. It was a little bit of a toss-up. Those guys decided not to play defense. It happens. But I told you guys, if you did the over and you did the Broncos plus the 2.5 on the teaser to get to 8.5, you would have cashed. You see why those teasers are prime in the NFL? Some people don't like teasers. I'm telling y'all, teasers are going to make you guys a lot of money when you play past the 3s and when you play past the 7s. We'll get into that later. And our only other loss in the day was South Dakota on the money line. I told you that line was fishy, and sure enough, it was fishy. Utah Tech picks up their second D1 win of the season. So 2-2 on the day. You can see our year-to-date record right here. Not too shabby. Still 6 games above 500 for the month of December. Actually, 8 games above 500 for the months of December. You love to see that. And in today's video, I've got Indiana, Notre Dame, my best bet. I've got the college basketball play and also one NBA player prop. We do have a small slate of both college basketball and NBA, but I decided to touch on it anyway because we need some bets. We need some winners, right? So let's get into it. Let's dive into these plays now. And as always, smash that subscribe button and share this video with somebody that you like, and comment 30 below. So this way, if we sweep the board, I can send somebody some money. Now let's get into these winners. For my first best bet of the day, let us go to the Indiana Notre Dame game. And speaking about college football, I do have a brand new video on the channel. We got to visit some stadiums over this past season. I'm about to start dropping them in terms of our visits. And our first one is one of the teams that's in the playoff that's playing tomorrow, Clemson. So make sure you guys like that video. Make sure you guys go check it out. Drop a comment. Tell me what you think about the new content, because I want to try to bring something different to the betting space and also to just the sports world in general. I'm tired of seeing Stephen A. and Skip Bayless and some of these people on Fox Sports just run their mouth. I want to get the fans' perspective, so I try to do something a little bit different. Tell me if you guys like that in that CFB video that I dropped this morning. But in the Indiana Notre Dame game, I'm going to keep it real simple. Indiana plus 7.5. I really do like that, but Notre Dame is at home, and this is the kind of the first huge real step up in class for Indiana, considering that they've never been in this position before. This is a basketball school, and now you're telling me that they're playing in the first ever college football playoff? I don't think anybody really would have predicted that. Shout out to Kurt Kennedy. He had an excellent season. That man said, Google me, I win games. And sure enough, if you Googled him, then you would have known that he wins games going back to his time at James Madison. Now, I do want to sprinkle a little bit on Indiana on the money line. I really do, because I have confidence. I love an underdog. I love an underdog story, right? But I feel like the play that you really need to make here is on the over. And I'm going to take over 51.5 minus 115 odds. It's at 52 by the hook down or whatever. But I think the over is the play. Why? Because Kurt Kennedy, what he's known for is his offense. That's what Indiana does. No team has had a higher point differential in terms of winning margin in the college football this year than Indiana. It wasn't Georgia. It wasn't Alabama. It wasn't Tennessee. It wasn't Texas. It was Indiana. No team scored more points and gave up less amount of points than Indiana this season in terms of win margin. So now they face a Notre Dame team where Notre Dame's good. Give them credit. They lost in week 2 of the regular season to Northern Illinois, a school they paid $1.5 million to come play, and they were able to overcome that loss and still find their way in the playoff. So literally, their playoffs started from back in September, and they were able to figure out a way. Look at Notre Dame's schedule a little bit deeper, especially their home games this season. They played Northern Illinois at home. They lost that game 14-16. Then they played Miami of Ohio at home, Louisville at home, Stanford at home, Florida State at home, and Virginia at home. 6 games. Do any of those teams just jump out to you? No, they don't. None of those teams are impressive, right, in terms of home games. And we are expecting a little bit of weather today. They said it's going to be cold. There's some snow on the field, but the wind should be about 13 to 15 miles per hour. I don't think that's going to be too detrimental, right, to the overall over in this game. So I wouldn't let the weather scare you off. But I think this is going to come as a shock to a lot of Notre Dame fans and to that home team, because that home environment in South Bend is definitely there. But the thing is, they haven't played any quality opponents at home, and they certainly have not played this Indiana offense at home. And because of that, I gotta go with the over here. Notre Dame's gonna score some points. We saw when Indiana played Ohio State, when they lost that game, that they're susceptible. Their defense is not that amazing, right? What was the final score of that game? Hold on one second. 15-38, right? You're not going to win a lot of games with Indiana if you only put up 15 points. But against Purdue, they dropped 66. Against Michigan, a team that runs the ball a lot, guess what? They still dropped 20 points. Against Michigan State, 47 points. Against Washington, 31 points. Another team that runs the ball a ton. Against Nebraska, 56 points. I'm not going to go through each one of these games and just tell you like how much points Indiana scored. You guys have seen them all season. So for me, I just feel like this first game of the playoff, we're going to get a high-scoring affair. Both of these teams can absolutely score the ball. Indiana scored 43 points per game. Their quarterback, Curtis Ruck, has thrown for 29 passes, touchdowns. You love to see that. And Notre Dame's defense is about 108th nationally in passing explosiveness and 102nd in defensive havoc. What does that mean? That they sometimes give up big plays. It's going to happen, right? And because of that, for me, I think that it's just going to be, let's isolate the game to the offenses. Notre Dame, they ranked second nationally in explosiveness on the offensive side of the ball, especially with their star running back, Jeremiah Love. He's averaging 7.1 yards per carry. Riley Leonard, the quarterback for Notre Dame, he's been efficient this year, 2,000 passing yards with 16 touchdowns. And that's good. They have a strong offensive line. And this Indiana team's not one that gets a lot of pressure. So if you have a star running back who can hit the hole, if you have a good offensive lineman that's going to protect your quarterback, they should be able to move the ball down the field against the Indiana defense when they stepped up in class and played a good offense like Ohio State, gave up some points. So for me, this is just going to come down to the red zone where which team's going to convert better. And I saw a crazy stat. Notre Dame this season in the red zone, 41 of 49 in terms and scoring 37 touchdowns in the red zone. That is amazing. So if either of these teams can get into field goal range, I'm expecting points. I'm expecting touchdowns. I'm expecting chunk plays. We know Kirk and Eddie is not going to come here and start to play soft and go different from what he's done in years prior or in games prior. We're going to get offenses. I think that we're going to get a 7.5, point or in the one possession game. It could be like 30-24 or something like that. Indiana, I think, can win this game. Truthfully, I would sprinkle the plus 7.5. I truthfully would tease it. I know some people don't like to tease college football, but for me, I've done really well teasing college football, so I would bump this over down, and I would take Indiana up to 2 touchdowns, damn near. Because think about it, teasing college football, you can get a 6-point tease at minus 105. So if you do a 7-point tease, a whole nother touchdown, you can get that at the minus 120 that we play in the NFL. So keep that in mind, friends. But over 51.5, I'm expecting points here. Don't really worry about the weather too much. Let's cash that for our first best bet of the day. Second pick of the day, let's go to college basketball real quick. Crazy slate, not too many things that I like, but there is one game between Cincinnati and Dayton, two teams I've watched pretty heavily this year, and I'm going to go under 137.5, minus 115 odds. This is really just a play on numbers here, okay? If you look at the numbers, Dayton this season has been an over team. They're 8-3 to the over this season. Pretty crazy. So why are you taking the under, Noble? Because Cincinnati's 2-7 to the under this season. And this game is being played in Cincinnati. Not at their home court, but it is being played at Cincinnati. So it's basically a semi-home game for Cincinnati. And when you look at the last game for Dayton, where they barely won that game, we were on them on the money line against UNLV. They won that game 66-65. So it went under the number. But this is the thing. Dayton is 306 in adjusted tempo, so they don't play fast. They're bottom 50 in all of college basketball in terms of pace. They played a UNLV team that's 295th in tempo. Guess what? That game went under. Well, Cincinnati, what's their number in tempo? 273. So they're not that fast of a playing team at all. And they're ranked 10th in defensive efficiency. Dayton, they're going to try to outscore you. They're going to try to score more points than you. They're going to try to bully you. That's what they did against New Mexico State, against North Carolina, Iowa State, against Connecticut. But the thing is, when you look at some of those games, a lot of those games where they went over was one against inferior opponents, or two was in the Maui Invitational. If you know anything about the Maui Invitational, those rims are basically a high school gym's rims. They're very, very loose rims. That's why a lot of the games in the Maui Invitational go over. But when they've played good teams defensively, like UNLV, that game went under. Marquette, That game went under, right? So keep that in mind. So when you look at the numbers, I think that this is a very competitive game. This is Dayton's last non-conference game before they go into conference play. And then Cincinnati has the home advantage here, but Dayton's a good team. So I don't want to lay the 3.5, the 4 points with Cincinnati. I'm just going to go with the under here. So Dayton has gone under recently against strong competitive opponents, and Cincinnati has gone under in 4 of the last 5 games, including against Xavier 68-65. They won that game. It went under 146.5. Against Villanova, we had a total of 139.5 in this game, very similar to where this line opened up. That game went under 60-68, right? So Cincinnati is going to try to beat you defensively. They're very, very strong in that side. They're giving up less than 60 points per game. I think they're like 50 points per game. That's like top 20 in all of college basketball. Go under 137.5. Don't overthink it as our CBB play of the day. Third and final best bet of the day. Don't kill me. I'm going to be honest. Don't kill me. Because this NBA play, I didn't even want to take it. But there's a guy I follow on Twitter, and in his Discord, his name is Millie Props, I think his name is on Twitter or something, and he gave a really good write-up on a player today. And I was like, you know what? I'm looking for an NBA bet. I don't want to force anything, but I love this play. And we're going to go Joel Embiid. I should stop right there because he's probably injured because I said that. But we're going to go over 3.5 assists, minus 125 odds on DraftKings. The good thing about Joel Embiid, in a way, is if he doesn't play, this gets voided. So no harm, no foul. But the problem is, if this man gets into this game and he gets hurt, like, he's banned. I don't even do the ban list shit, but like Joel Embiid, I'm just sick and tired of his antics. I'm sick and tired of these injuries. Like, bro, I'm not even getting into it. And when he plays, he's always seeking fouls. Like, I'm not even going to get into it, right? So we have to worry about the injuries here, of course. But with a 10.5, 11-point spread in favor of the 76ers at home, it's going to be implied that Joel Embiid is going to be playing today because of that line against the Charlotte Hornets, right? So for me, if he plays, and then the head coach came out and Nick Nurse and mentioned that the fracture wasn't that serious, I'm expecting him to play 25, 30, maybe 35 minutes today, as long as there's not a blowout. And the reason why I like this assist line is because it's just too low. In the games that Embiid has played this season, he's gone over this number in 4 of 6. And then he's averaging about 4 assists per game. But when you look at him last season, in games where he was averaging 25 minutes or more, he was averaging close to 6 assists a game, 5.7 assists per game on about 10 potential assist opportunities. So he covered this number in 71% of the games. We're not going to get this value anymore once Embiid starts playing regularly, if he ever gets to that point. Like, let's just be honest. So for us, let's take advantage of the opportunity now. Hopefully he plays the entire game. They are playing an inferior opponent against Charlotte, but Sixers don't even look that good this season, so can we even say they're inferior, right? And then another stat that I saw that was pretty interesting that Millie broke down, he says over 50% of Embiid's assists come from made three-pointers. Well, guess what? Charlotte, they rank 10th in assists off of the three-point shots. But then if you also watch a lot of Sixers games, we know one thing that Nick Nurse likes to do with Joel Embiid is run that high dribble handoff. Throw it to Embiid and the high post. You get Maxey coming off of it. Now we got Paul George coming off of it as well. And when you look at that as well, guess what? Charlotte is a team that gives up a lot of dribble handoffs, right? And the kick out threes. And that's what Embiid feasts on. And Maxey and Paul George coming off of those dribble handoffs, those high screens, Charlotte allows the 3rd highest points per game off of dribble handoffs. Right, what Joel Embiid likes to do. So for me, it's just more of a play where it's like, don't overthink it. And then in the one game that he's played this season against a team that's top 10 in dribble handoffs and points allowed off of that, the Chicago Bulls, he had 5 assists. Can't be too mad at that, right? And he's gone over this number going back to last season, 13 of 16 against teams in the top 10 that allowed points off of dribble handoffs, and 12 out of 12 at home. Again, shout out to Millie Props for kind of like the extra value and the info on this, man. I want to give credit to anybody where I get picks from and things like that. But I like this play. Joel Embiid over 3.5 assists. We don't get this value often, especially. We just have to make sure that he plays the minutes, and I think that he should be able to do it. Again, if he doesn't play, no harm, no foul. It's going to be voided. So let's lock this in as our third and final best bet of the day. Well, that's it for me today, my friends. 3 best bets, 3 winners. No bonus pick today because tomorrow's slate is loaded. So no need to lose a ton of coin tonight. Let's just keep it real simple and plain. College football playoff, inaugural game, game 1 in the 12-teamer. Indiana, Notre Dame, over 51.5. In college basketball, Cincinnati and Dayton, under 137.5. And Joel Embiid, over 3.5 assists in the NBA tonight against Charlotte at home. I like those 3 best bets. Let's have a day. Let's cash it. Sprinkle a little bit on Indiana on the money line, as I hope they can upset Notre Dame and get it done. We'll be back tomorrow with a quick blitz to go through some quick games for you guys, as always. And make sure you guys check out that video that I dropped on earlier this morning about me visiting Clemson. Tell me what you like. Drop a comment on it. Let me know if you want to see more content like this or if it's a good idea. I'm really looking for feedback, guys. I'm really trying to grow here. We just hit 1,000 subs, so I'm going to have your plus 1,000 parlay for you guys tomorrow. So be on the lookout for everything. Appreciate the love and support. Drop 30 below so you can so I can Venmo somebody who wins if we sweep the board. And as always, dictate your fate. Get to that cheddar. And I'll see you on tomorrow's video. It's your boy Noble Living. This is The Free 3.